Hello, and welcome back to the Four Horsemen. My name is Paul, representing Diecast Graveyard. Myself, along with Andrew from Maple Leaf Customs, Tom from Spork Syndicate, and Skip from Crossroad Diecast Speed Shop, make up the Four Horsemen. The building theme for this month is the military. Now, depending on whatever country you're from, you can build any military vehicle you wish. I'd also like to take the time to thank Joel at Radio Flyer for being our guest horseman this month. And we've got a bunch of other folks lined up for the rest of the year, and we're going to have a lot of fun, so make sure you subscribe to Joel's page on YouTube. Well, to no surprise of anyone here, I'm using a 55 gasser. It happens to be my favorite build, my favorite car, and we're going to have a lot of fun with this. So sit back, grab your favorite adult beverage, and join in today with this month's theme, the military, for the Four Horsemen. Let's get started with today's build.
It's time to start the autopsy.
I've already drilled out the post, so let's take the car apart. I like the red windshield in the car for this build because it's going to go with the theme absolutely perfect. We'll get that stripped down. Here's the base. We're definitely going to do a wheel swap. Here's the glass. And here's the interior. Let's move on.
I love how the moonlight shines over the mausoleum.
I dipped the body in the citrus strip, and we're going to let that set for a while. Sometimes it'll take anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer, depending on the paint that's on the car. Premium paint jobs take a little bit more because they've been clear coated several times, etc. Here's the result. The paint seemed to come off really easy. We'll get it in the sink and we'll get it scrubbed down and cleaned up, and we'll scrub it down with some degreaser and get it ready for paint.
Someone is being exhumed.
We've got the paint stripped off, and we cleaned it up, and we scrubbed it really good with degreaser, and I use Zep degreaser. It's a great product. No need to polish this because we're going to paint over it with a good coating of base coat and primer. And here I'm using, from Tamiya, the Fine Surface Primer. And I've got two different colors I normally use, either white or light gray. But for this one here, I'm going to use white. This is a really good product, and I recommend it highly. You can get it at your local Hobby Lobby. I would recommend doing some searching online for cheaper prices. I went ahead and I painted the car. Now I'm using a paint from spraygunner.com, and I'm using Chroma Air. Now you can find these Chroma Air paints at spraygunner.com. Check them out. This is their in-house brand. Now the best part about these paints is they're airbrush ready. You don't have to mix them with anything. You can thin them if you wish, but I would recommend using a 0.5 needle when you're using your airbrush, as the medium is a lot thicker. We let that dry for a while, and we put a light clear coat on there. Now we're going to put on the decals. Here I've got a Q-tip, and I dipped it in the water. Now you can use Microset or Microsol. If you can use straight water, it's just a little bit easier on you, and it doesn't cost anything. Now here are the decals that I printed. I cut them out around the wheel wells, etc. Now you can put them on there without cutting out the wheel wells. You'll just have to get that acetate out of the wheel wells after the decals have dried, and it usually takes a good 8 hours at a minimum. Now hold it with your finger, or your thumb in this case. Rub out all the wrinkles. Get all the water out of there, and try to get it to lay as flat as possible. Again, if you're having any issues with this, use the Microset, and it will soften up the decal where it will go into the cracks and crevices, like your door jambs, around door handles, etc. Again, rub it down with water. Here on the back of the car on the trunk, I'm putting the word Semper Fi, which in the Marine Corps that's Latin, it stands for always faithful. I did find out some things about Marines as I was in the service. Once a Marine, always a Marine. And there's a lot of services that don't talk like that or act like that. But you never say an ex-Marine. You always say maybe a former Marine. But once you become a Marine, you're a Marine for life. Here's the roof decal. I made all these up and designed them myself. I just found some artwork online and I layered them and put them on top of each other, etc. Now the program that I use to work my magic is Vinyl Master Pro, and it's a sign making software, and I've had it for quite a while, but it works absolutely fantastic. I've turned on some friends to that particular program and they said that they absolutely love it. Again, using your Q-tip, I recommend using one that's slightly wet. Get out all the wrinkles and make sure it's flat. If you use a dry one, you're liable to the abrasiveness of the cotton swab could possibly take off the colors off your decal. Now when you make these decals, the system that I use, you don't have to clear coat them to protect them. Again, wet it down, and I'm using straight water on this. As you can see, I did cut out the wheel wells here. Hold it with your thumb and pull the paper out from underneath. Get it into position. Hold it with your thumb and then rub out all the wrinkles for the majority of the decal. Once you get them in the position that you want them in, stop messing around with it, because if you keep messing with it, you're going to ruin the decal, or you're going to have it come off the car. It's going to wad up on you and you're not going to be able to get it back to where you need it. So just please be careful. That looks fantastic. So far, so good. Let's move on. Now, if you want to get some decals like this, here I've got Navy, Air Force, Army, Marine Corps, the Purple Heart, POW, MIA. Go to diecastgraveyard.com. I've got all my decals listed there, and I'm adding more and more every day. Now, after it was done, I let it set probably for at least 12 hours, and I sprayed it down with some Diecast Graveyard 2K Clear. And you can get that at diecastgraveyard.com. The best part about this is when you use it the way I tell you to, it'll make your car look like glass. Now you should put a clear coat over your decals to protect them, because if you don't, they're going to get scratched and they're going to come off. And here's all the pieces. Here we got the body with the clear coat. We detailed up the lights on the car. That looks great. Here's the base, and I got some fantastic Samed wheels on there. They look fantastic. Here's the interior, and here's the glass. I'm really happy with the way this turned out, and I had a lot of fun doing this for you on this military build. Let's go ahead, put everything together, and give my creation life.
Life! Life, do you hear me? Give my creation life!
And here's what we started with, this Hot Wheels 55 gasser. Like I said before, I love working with these cars. They're my favorite casting, and a lot of my builds incorporate these cars. We took it apart, we stripped the paint, we cleaned it up, we did the primer, we did that wonderful paint from Spray Gunner, the Chroma Air, which you can get at spraygunner.com, and we had a lot of fun putting on the decals. And this is how it turned out. I also put on a hood scoop there that a friend of mine 3D printed for me, and I've got a bunch more that I'm going to be incorporating into my builds, but that turned out absolutely fantastic. Now, as I always say to you folks, you can do this too. Start with some main lines that you find at Walmart or at Dollar General or something like that. And then later on, if you want to get into the red line cars, which are a lot harder to do because the post is so narrow, you'll get up your skills to be able to do these cars and make your cars look absolutely awesome. Now again, if you're interested in the decals that I made, and check them out at diecastgraveyard.com. I've got a bunch of choices there, and I'm always looking for ideas. So just let me know in the comments. Now don't forget to subscribe if you've gotten anything out of this video. Hit that like button, smash it. It really helps me out, I promise you. Now if you want to get into these builds, here is the Four Horsemen calendar for the rest of the year. And you can find this at Four Horsemen Diecast on YouTube. This tells you can use any casting. Make sure that if you send a glamour shot to us, it's on 16:9 high definition, and email it to fourhorsemendiecast@gmail.com. We'll put it in the recap video. Also, put the hashtag Four Horsemen Diecast in your title or in the description. That'll help people be able to find your videos. We also recognize folks with the Horseshoe Awards. Now this has been dated back to January 23. After 6 builds you get a bronze, 12 you get a silver, you got gold, platinum, and diamond after that. But we've got a lot of folks that are already into the gold horseshoes, and they're getting ready to come up to the next level. I want to thank Radio Flyer again for being our guest horseman. He did a fantastic build. Please check out his video. And we all had a lot of fun with this, and make sure you subscribe to these folks. Thanks again for joining me on Diecast Graveyard for the Four Horsemen build. I've got a bunch more videos coming out in the very near future, and I had a lot of fun doing this for you. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments, and I do my best to answer everyone. So thank you for everything, and cheers.